Hi everyone, today I'm sharing a discreet and reliable method that will help you stay calm and remain in control during high anxiety moments. My name is Dominic Decker, a registered therapist and your support behind anxietymaster.org, here to help you develop the calm and confident life you want. You know how distressing it is if you suffer intense anxiety episodes. A bout of anxiety might come on suddenly, strike anywhere, and often it happens at inappropriate and unhelpful times. If high anxiety arises in private, there's a degree of comfort in knowing you can manage it discreetly. But when anxiety creeps up on you in a public space, well, this can be startling. Perhaps when queuing at the supermarket, or mid-flow with your boss at work, or when you expect to talk in group situations. When this happens, you confront two demands at once. There's the troubling peak of heightened worry and the accompanying sensations. For instance, shortness of breath, heart palpitations, sweaty hands and butterflies in your stomach. This is your internal state. Plus, you face an expectation to hold it together and appear normal or face embarrassment and humiliation. And this represents the external situation. So a desire to get away is easy to understand in these overwhelming scenarios. Escape or avoidance seems the quickest route to relief. However, a swift exit is rarely the right approach for longer-term outlook. If you do run, your brain will tag any future similar situation as a potential threat. As a result, you'll be primed to experience even higher anxiety the next time you find yourself in the same circumstances. So instead, it's best to have one or two simple, trusty methods to help you stay calm, stay put, and stay in the moment. The last thing you need in an anxiety-inducing situation is to be half remembering and flapping your way through complex calming techniques. And this is if you remember any at all, because this will only increase your sense of powerlessness. So it's far better to have a simple and reliable system for calming yourself down, one you can practice and become familiar with in your own space and time. A discreet and reassuring approach that can become second nature when you need to call upon it. And this brings us to a technique I teach people and many find helpful. We're talking about the AWARE technique, and you can use the AWARE method to stay present, keep your head, and manage the ride in nearly any high anxiety situation. Whether anxiety strikes when you're alone or around other people, you'll have a lot to be proud of when you master this approach, because in effect, this method involves reconditioning your fear response. So let's start with a quick overview of the AWARE technique. AWARE is an acronym for a helpful cognitive technique, and the 5 steps to AWARE are: acknowledge and accept, wait and watch, act normally, repeat, and finally, expect the best. Well, let's break these down in a bit more detail. Step 1, acknowledge and accept. Well, the key to reducing your anxiety is to accept it completely. Now, while this might appear counterintuitive, fighting it further stimulates the sympathetic nervous system. And this is the network of nerves that help your body activate the fight-flight response, releasing even more stress hormones. So you decide not to fight as you feel the anxiety creep in, or rather, you begin by deciding to be with it. And to do this, simply scan your body and see how you feel. Then tell yourself about it as it is. You don't need to ignore or run away from it. Instead, you want to move next to and through it. So what do you notice, and what feels familiar? You've moved through this experience before, and you can apply this technique to aid you in moving through it again. To help set this up, bring your attention to your breathing with this simple 3-5 method. Sometimes this is called diaphragmatic breathing, and it involves breathing in for a count of 3 and out for a count of 5. The reason for making the out-breath last longer is that inhalation, this is breathing in, has been shown to activate the sympathetic nervous system responsible for arousal and action. So while exhalation, breathing out, stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, and this is our relaxation response, the one we want to strengthen. So by breathing out more slowly than breathing in, you strengthen your relaxation response over the arousal response. Well, let's practice this for a moment together. When you are ready, notice how your diaphragm expands as you breathe in. And much like a balloon filling with air. And then notice how it deflates and moves back in as the breath empties from your lungs. So take a breath in for 3, 2, and 1. And now breathe out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And repeat, in for 3, 2, 1. And out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And one last time, breathe in for 3, 2, 1. And out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And as you take the time to practice and continue this technique, you'll notice how it gives you just that little bit of room you need to carry on for step 2. So the second step to aware is to wait and watch. And continue by focusing on your breath, and instead of running away to find temporary relief, let the relief come to you. Observe the anxiety without judging it to be good or bad. And aim to be detached from it. Move into your observing self and study it. Rate the anxiety from maybe 1 to 10, noticing when it goes up and when it goes down. Remember, you are not your anxiety, so be in the anxiety state, but don't belong to it. So if you notice yourself at a 4, you might ask, well, why is this a 4 and not a 6 or 7? Or what's different about it? Aim to just be curious about it. And then you move to step 3, act normally. And it's here that you want to carry on behaving normally and do whatever it is that you intended to do. Or breathe calmly and stay in the situation, if at all possible. By remaining present, you show your fear instinct that it doesn't need to tag the situation as threatening. Yet if you run from the situation, your immediate anxiety will go down, but your future stress will go up. Next, we have step 4, repeat. And with these first 3 steps covered, your 4th step is simple. This involves repeating the first 3 steps again, accepting, watching, and acting normally, all the while focusing upon your 3-5 breathing. Now when you manage the steps above, you move to step 5, and this is the one your efforts truly deserve, to expect the best. Because by taking the previous steps, you are taking affirmative action to tame and control your fear instinct. And with practice, this method can help you calm down quickly and discreetly, so you can allow yourself to imagine a successful outcome from trying to master anxiety attacks and take pride in what you're on the verge of achieving. Most likely, you've accomplished things in your life of which you are proud. So visualize the best possible outcome when you stay present and perform to the best of your ability. Free of any limitations imposed by a bout of anxiety, you are now learning to tame and control. Okay, now you can access the steps to remain aware when high anxiety strikes. An important reminder, it's really worth practicing these steps in moments of calm, because this is when you have the time and presence of mind to make this technique your automatic response. The last thing you want is to be trying to remember how to calm yourself down when you're already feeling anxious. So instead, you want a well-rehearsed, go-to response you can rely upon without tripping over the steps involved. In my starter support pack, Dom's Anxiety Toolkit, you'll find a helpful visual prompt for this method and a high-quality audio rehearsal I've recorded for you to keep handy on your phone whenever you need it. So check the link in the description to learn more about what's included in the toolkit. I hope you'll take advantage of this low-cost but very quality support. It's waiting for you. See you soon.